Moldova to receive 100+ Canadian-made armored vehicles. Moldova's armed forces will receive more than 100 Senator armored vehicles built by Canadian manufacturer Roshel as part of European Union defense assistance, Militarnii reported. The procurement will run through the Estonian Centre for Defence Investments under a 2022 to 2025 aid package specifically designed to strengthen the mobility and transport capabilities of Moldova's military, with the entire project funded by the European Union through the European Peace Facility, the EU mechanism that finances military and defense-related support for partner countries. The total project value exceeds $57 million, provided to Moldova as a non-repayable grant, with delivery of the Canadian-built vehicles scheduled for completion by May 2027. The Senator that Moldova is acquiring is built on a Ford F-550 heavy commercial truck chassis, a design choice that distinguishes Roshel's entire vehicle line from the bespoke, purpose-built armored chassis most traditional defense manufacturers use. Roshel founder and CEO Roman Shimonov has described this approach as a deliberate departure from how the defense industry typically builds armored vehicles, adapting proven commercial truck platforms rather than engineering an armored chassis from scratch, a strategy that keeps unit costs lower and production timelines faster than conventional military vehicle programs can typically achieve. The Senator carries up to 10 passengers in its standard armored personnel carrier configuration, runs on a 6.7-liter turbocharged diesel engine producing roughly 330 horsepower and 750 newton-meters, 553 lb-ft of torque, and offers ballistic protection up to the CNB-7 standard, sufficient to withstand sustained small arms fire including rounds up to 50 mm, 1.97 in caliber according to field reporting from Ukrainian border guards who have operated the vehicle. Roshel Senator family has become one of the most widely distributed Western-supplied armored platforms in Ukraine's defense against Russia's full-scale invasion, a track record that gives Moldova's procurement decision real operational weight rather than purely theoretical confidence in an unproven design. Canada announced its first major Senator donation to Ukraine in January 2023, a $90 million Canadian dollars $67.3 million package covering 200 vehicles, and Roshel reported delivering its 1,800 Senator to Ukraine by May 2025, a figure reflecting sustained production scaling that the company says it expanded toward a target capacity of 1,000 vehicles per year to meet wartime demand. Senator vehicles have seen extensive frontline use throughout the conflict, including participation in Ukraine's August 2024 incursion into Russia's Kursk Oblast, and the open-source tracking project Oryx had documented 176 Senator vehicles destroyed, damaged, or captured as of December 2025, a casualty figure that reflects both the scale of deployment and the intensity of combat exposure the platform has endured. The vehicle's combat experience in Ukraine directly shaped a dedicated military variant Roshel introduced specifically for frontline conditions. The Senator MRAP, first presented in 2023, features a heavily modified two-door body with a double-vol design optimized for mine and improvised explosive device resistance, certified to STANAG 4569 Level 2 ballistic protection and Level 3 blast protection, the NATO standardization agreement that defines armor and blast resistance benchmarks for military vehicles. While the press release covering Moldova's procurement does not specify which exact Senator variant the country will receive, the vehicle's overall design philosophy, combining commercial chassis affordability with combatist protection, addresses precisely the mobility and transport gap that Moldova's defense ministry has identified as its priority. Moldovan Defense Minister Anatoly Nosatii emphasized the significance of consistent European Union support for strengthening Moldova's defense capability. This support reflects the European Union's consistent commitment to strengthening the defense capabilities of the Republic of Moldova, Nosatii said, noting that the procurement will contribute to modernizing the country's training process and improving the interoperability of Moldovan forces in accordance with European standards. Moldova's strategic position gives this procurement particular significance beyond its dollar value. The country, which is not a NATO member but has been pursuing closer integration with European institutions, shares a long border with Ukraine and sits within the broader region where Russian hybrid threats, ranging from energy pressure to disinformation campaigns to outright military intimidation, have intensified considerably since 2022. Moldova has formally applied for European Union membership and has been pursuing parallel efforts to modernize its small, historically underfunded military, a process the European Peace Facility has supported through multiple assistance packages targeting different capability gaps. This Senator procurement specifically targets mobility and transport, addressing what Moldova's defense ministry has identified as a critical shortfall in moving troops and equipment around a country with limited domestic vehicle production capacity of its own. Roshel's broader trajectory through 2025 and into 2026 illustrates the company's expanding footprint well beyond its original Ukraine-focused production surge. The company opened its first American manufacturing facility in Shelby Township, Michigan, in December 2024, secured multiple blanket purchase agreements with the U.S. Department of State worth a combined $130.6 million for 330 armored vehicles, and entered a joint venture with Czech defense firm Omnipol to establish localized Senator production in Europe, a move specifically intended to increase supply chain resilience and shorten delivery timelines for European customers like Moldova. Roshel also made its first direct delivery to Moldova in July 2025, providing 2 Senator vehicles to Moldovan police funded by the European Union, a smaller pilot deployment that preceded this much larger military procurement now confirmed.